Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Empire Secrets. I'm your host, Mariana Henninger. I am so excited. First off, if you are watching this on YouTube, you might notice that my lighting looks very weird. It looks kind of yellow. It looks terrible, actually. It's coming from the top of my head. And that's because my gear is all put away. And it's put away because it's all packed in my car. As soon as I finish recording this, I'm about to head out to Massachusetts for a client shoot. And super excited about this shoot. It's a profile of the new president of college overseas who is American and who lives here in Massachusetts. So we're going to film with him for the day. I'm stoked about the ideas that we've had to really showcase his drive, his personality, the things, his values, the things that he's going to bring to the table as the new president of this college. And I'm always excited for a new shoot because I love being on the ground. I don't get to do it as often. Most of our brand videos, I hire teams to go out and film. And this one, I'm going to go film myself because I really wanted to get behind the camera again and just challenge myself to do an amazing job, to get those really beautiful visuals, to direct. I'll have my assistant with me, I'll have some help. And it's going to be a great day. I'm so excited. But today I wanted to talk about all the shifts that are happening in my business. I've been talking about them for the last couple weeks. If you tuned into Empire Secrets 2 weeks ago, you would have heard my interview with Dr. William Attaway. And by the way, if you hear beeping in the background, there's now paving going on my street. So it really is like kind of not a normal day. In fact, I was supposed to be on William Attaway's podcast, Catalytic Leadership, yesterday, and we had to postpone that recording because of the construction going on outside of my house. They're repaving our entire street. And so if you hear, you know, jackhammers or beeping of trucks backing up or, truck tires going all of that is happening right outside my office window right now. But anyway, so 2 weeks ago, I had William on the podcast, and it was such an awesome conversation that we had. He is a fantastic coach for leaders. And what I loved about it was that it was so timely for this moment that I am in my business right now, pivoting towards focusing or sharpening, really sharpening our focus towards our brand video signature offers. And what that requires of me as a leader is so different than the role I was playing before when we were focused on selling my brand video signature. I'm sorry, my brand video accelerator program and my course, the brand video system. And so I am, my friends will tell you from the Gals Voxer channel that in the last couple weeks, I have been sharing so much about what a challenge this has been for me, not in a bad way, but really it feels like I'm steering my mind in a different direction. And I always thought that I could pivot fairly quickly. And I realized that I've trained myself to be so focused, to be so aware of shiny objects and not pay attention to them. Or like I might pay it a little bit of attention, but I immediately classify them. And I was like, nope, that's a shiny object. It's not something I need to worry about right now or focus on right now. And I literally just do not spend time on it. So if it's not really moving the needle towards the very thing I'm focusing on right now, I don't pay attention to it. And so what happened was I trained myself really well. And so when this shift towards the activities that I need to do to focus on our brand video signature offer, when that shift came about, immediately my reaction, like sort of my gut reaction, my instinct, my training was all to point at those different activities and be like, nope, that's not what I'm focusing. And so I really had to like fight myself on this for the longest time. It was definitely a mindset shift. And I was actually chatting with my friend Emily Paulson in the Gals group, and she was saying that 10x is easier than 2x for her is so much more about mindset. It's mindset first and foremost. And then it's the activities, right? And for me, it was always like, well, the activities are what matter. Like what you're doing, the tasks, what you're accomplishing, the jobs you need to get done, those are what matter most. It is ultimately, what needs to happen in order for you to move the needle and achieve your goals. But the thing that she was pointing out to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right, is that the mindset shift comes first, and that's the hardest part. And I was like, I had never paid attention to the mindset shift that comes from 10x is easier than 2x. So if you haven't read the book, if you're not familiar, I do have a podcast. One of my very first episodes on this podcast is about this book. And my biggest takeaway, why is it easier? It's because you're doing fewer things. You are focused on much fewer things that are going to move the needle further in your business. And so that's why it's easier because you're not doing as much. And so I had been already kind of moving towards that within the things that I was doing for the accelerator and for my course. But now it's even more, oh my God, like I feel like the knife is even sharper to cut out like decision literally means to cut off. And so I'm cutting off, I'm making the decision to focus, which means I'm cutting off everything, even sometimes contacts with people. Sometimes it's a coffee chat that people ask me to do. And I am very selective about those because I feel like, yes, they're awesome. Like I love doing coffee chats. I love meeting people, but I have to be strategic about my time. And so I have to prioritize meeting folks that I know are going to be the people that I need to surround myself with right now. And so I am being selfish about that. I will always respond to an Instagram message. And if I don't, it's not because I intentionally didn't respond, unless you're being nasty or something, which has never happened. But I really try to respond to everybody, even if it's with a smiley face, a heart, a quick voice note response. But in terms of actually like getting on a call or connecting or having a back and forth, I have to be really strategic about my time. Like time is so, so valuable. And you hear these 7, 8 figure folks talking about this all the time. And it's absolutely true. It's your most valuable asset by far. And so now I kind of measure my day thinking, wow, what did I accomplish today? And was it worth it spending time in front of my computer working where I could have been with family, where I could have been at the beach enjoying my time at the beach, but which, by the way, I've been totally taking my laptop to the beach now that it's summer. But more on that a different time. But I really have been measuring my productivity based on, was it worth it for me to seclude myself from my husband and from my kid and from my friends and family in order to spend the day working? Like, did I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish? Did I move the needle? And I love this shift. I mean, this is what I'm talking about today. It's this massive shift that I'm really embodying. I feel like a different entrepreneur right now. I feel like I'm in a new stage of business where I am extremely focused. I mean, I feel like I was pretty focused before, and now I'm extremely focused. I am focused, as William Attaway talked about, on 70% income producing activities. I am focused on reaching out to people, realizing that so many people had reached out to me either by email or by way of introduction from somebody else or on LinkedIn messages that I wasn't paying attention to before. And these are really amazing connections that I had not developed and I could have been developing over the last couple months. And realizing that yes, I need to reach out to new people and be in front of new audiences, but I already have really awesome people who have already reached out to me. And so finding that really focusing on developing those conversations, the right conversations, is the thing that's going to really push me towards my goals, which right now for I guess it's an agency now for Brandmagnetic. Our goal is to reach 3 brand video signature clients a month. And obviously, you know, it's not just an offer, it's not just a product, it's something I believe in wholeheartedly. I have felt the effects of having a brand video, the system installed in my business. I have seen my clients do so great with their brand videos. And I could not be happier that our entire business revolves around something that I believe in so wholeheartedly. And I think that's so important, by the way. With that said, yeah, I just wanted to share about the shift. I wanted to share about my focus. I'm also really taking care of my health more than ever. I feel like, so now I'm 42. I feel like for the last 2 years since I turned 40, which is so cliche, I have been progressively focusing my diet on protein, on fewer carbs, more protein, vegetables, but really be intentional about it. And it's become a part of my life. It's not something that I went into cold turkey. It's now something I enjoy and I prioritize with joy. I know the results in my body. I feel great. I'm not hungry all the time. I don't have mood swings. I don't have ups and downs. That's actually a funny story. 2 weeks ago, maybe, yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was having this really interesting thing happen where I would have breakfast. I would do my kids' homeschool in the morning, like for an hour. And as the caretaker took over and I would go to my room to or my office rather to start my workday, I just had zero energy. And I'm like, what is going on? I need to like lay down and take a nap. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding you. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like, I guess this is a phase. I guess this is part of my pivot. I can't fight this. Like I'm so tired at 10 a.m. I can't go to my desk and work. Like I have to take a nap. And the most hilarious thing happened. So this was going on for like a week and a half. And I'm like, wow, what is happening to me? Like I can't like be taking naps all the time. And I guess I can, which I did, but I didn't want to be honest. Like I loved napping on a weekend. Yes, 100%. But during the weekday, I like to get work done and I like to be productive. And so that weekend, after a week and a half of this happening, it just like hit me like a light bulb. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's these new supplements I'm taking. So started taking two different supplements. One was just like a multivitamin, but then later I realized that one of the sort of effects that was listed on the bottle was relaxation or stress relief, and the other one was straight up stress relief. And sure enough, I stopped taking those supplements and I'm totally back to normal. I am not taking my mid-morning nap anymore. I'm totally fine. I am like ready to go and tackle the day. So I'm super happy that I just gained back a couple hours of my life every day. Not, I wasn't taking hour-long naps, but during the course of a week, it was probably a couple hours that I was just napping in the middle of the morning. And so I'm so glad to be back at it. I'm so glad to be going on the shoot. I am so excited for the next round of guests on Empire Secrets. I know I've had fewer guests than normal on the show, but we have such an awesome incoming round of guests that are so powerful, so amazing, all like really ninja. Like, I can't even tell you guys, out of all of the people that apply to be on the show, I probably select like 1 out of 10. I'm extremely selective of who I bring on the show, and hopefully you see that the caliber is super high, and I love our conversations, and I love that I get to share them with you. If you are an avid listener of the show, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you love about it, what you don't love about it, or just say like love listening to your show, right? You don't have to go into detail about what you love about. I know that takes extra thinking power, but do shoot me a note on Instagram at Brandmagnetic. You can also find me on LinkedIn because I'm a little bit more active there now. I'm Mariana Henninger on LinkedIn. Do connect with me, say hi. I love to hear from you. In fact, I was chatting with a student the other day and she was telling me how much this podcast influenced her decision to work with me. And I'm like, that makes me so happy because I love to know that you were listening and that you have takeaways. She mentioned a couple specific episodes that she loved with guests. And so with all that said, I'm going to wrap this up, send it to my awesome editor, Nico, and get in the car with all the gear and make my way up to Massachusetts for our shoot tomorrow. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and you are pushing forward. If you have not grabbed my cheat sheet, the ultimate cheat sheet for a brand story that converts, you can find that at brandmagnetic.com/cheat sheet. I'd love for you to grab that. I would love for you to ask me any questions that you have. However, I can help you, I will. If I have a resource I can send your way, I definitely will do that. I am so excited. I actually will end on one thing, which is that I'm in Amy Porterfield's group. And yesterday she shared about her, what she called her before and after video. It kind of is like a brand video. I would do it differently. I would have a slightly different approach, but it functions as a brand video because it tells her story. It has all sorts of these cutaways of her in her early days. And yeah, and so she shared how much every time she launches, people watch this video and she makes sales. And so I was so happy to see that. Obviously, I talked about this is what I do. This is my entire jam. This is how I focus on it. And one thing I did mention, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a future episode, which is that Amy has a before and after story, right? And most people do. If you're a coach, typically you're going to have an what I call an overcome story. If you help your audience with the very thing that you have now overcome, you have an overcome story. And there are other episodes where I talk about the framework for that story, but some people don't. So, for example, when I started my business, I'm not talking to filmmakers, right? I'm not helping filmmakers have a successful career in filmmaking, how to win an Emmy, none of that. I speak to online business owners, mission driven, founder led. And so for most folks like me, whose audience is not exactly who they are, although I am now a mission driven, founder led business owner, I have a passion story. So I put a little note in there about like you might not have a story just like Amy's where you have a before and after, but you might have a passion story. Like I'm happy to help you. And this is my own. She was encouraging us to create a video like this and share it. And so yeah, I was so happy to hear her talking about brand videos. And although she called them differently, and that's okay, which is fine because I wouldn't call hers a brand video. I would call hers a before and after. A brand video, it has to be so intentional about the message that you are using to connect with your audience to make them feel that you are their person. And so it's not just about feel them empowering them, which is what her focus was. I think there is a level of empowerment. In fact, I have clients who say that their brand video, the majority of the reactions that they get to their brand video is that people are inspired, which, is another way to say empowered, inspired to take action, to work with them. Anyway, my friends, gonna jump on the car. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon on the next episode of Empire Secrets. Bye for now.